Good morning, lovelies. My name is Sasha, and I just want to thank you for taking time out of your day to be here with me. I woke up feeling so high spirited, and it's been weird. It's been a really bizarre time. If you're tuning in April 4th, 2020, you know that we're going through a pandemic, a global pandemic, and it is scary and it is up and down, and it is really, really, really intense. So, one thing I want to say about that is, I got a message from Spirit today from Mother. I call her Mother, and she told me that as above, so below, and that it even really applied or applies greatly to what is happening right now. There's so much fear. There's so much death. There's also so much rebirth. There's also so much power in manifestation, in transformation, in the ability for people to transform, for perspectives to transform, for entire systems to transform. There is limitless potential right now going on, and it's being manifested in almost like this great purge, this great cleanse, this sickness that is revealing itself. The earth is so upset. The earth is so she's kind of shaking us up, right? And she's letting us know that we have done her such a great disservice, but she will forgive. She will forgive, and she will allow us to grow and expand. And that's almost the expectation of something like this, is that the old systems, they don't work for us. They won't work for us anymore. They never have been really working for us. We've kind of forced ourselves into these positions where we try to believe that life is really flowing and in alignment, and but what we're a lot of times, most of us are really doing is we're actually stepping out of alignment, and we are very dissatisfied, and we're not living holistic lives where our lives feel balanced, and an equal amount of play and work and love, all of these elements and all of these emotions flowing together. A lot of times it's in excess of one, and a limitation in another, a block in another, an avoidance of another. Um, and feeling like we are doing what we feel responsible to do. But sometimes responsibility is really interesting in that we try to take on responsibility that is not truly ours, right? So I don't know, Spirit's really been talking to me a lot this morning, and she really wanted me to come on and tell you. And I'm so new to this like YouTube world and how this works. I've got a highway that's right next to me, so it might be loud. I'm trying to use my headphones so that maybe I can be a little bit more heard. But I just felt like I had to come and I had to talk. And if you're listening to this message, then this message is for you, and it's to reassure you that as much as there is destruction going on, as much as there is fear and anxiety and panic and even fear mongering and scarcity mindset, there's also the exact opposite happening at the same exact time. They are coexisting, they are happening simultaneously. And you get to decide which it is that you want to tap into, because there's also a lot of powerful transformation, be it individual, which is the most powerful transformation. The individual's ability to transform oneself starts to alter the frequency of the collective, right? And as everybody begins to awaken to their own personal power, not the power of the universe, not feeling like your power and your purpose is to step into becoming the healer, becoming the this, becoming the that, like actually stepping into a place where you don't feel so compelled to be something that the ego would tell you is powerful, or something that the ego would define as successful. Actually defining success for yourself, defining personal power for yourself. That can be a tricky thing to do and a difficult thing to do, because a lot of our perspective has been based on a system that is not functioning, a system that is not healthy. And it's actually time for us to step out of the system right now. We are all homebound, right? We are all looking inward, or most of us are looking inward. And if we're seeing fear being reflected back at us, or if we're really resonating with that vibration, that low vibration of anxiety and whatnot, or some of us might be resonating with preparedness, some of us might be resonating with stillness, some of us might be being very creative in our spaces, figuring out and leaning into our passions and our hobbies and our interests in ways that we just didn't even have the time for before. Also, that ego might have told us is not productive. So a lot of times being productive comes in the form of hyperproductivity or physical action, physical movement, purpose and passion being very physical. But I just feel and see that purpose and passion right now are kind of being redirected into self personal power. And it kind of, what I see is the individual leaning into their personal power in a very individualistic way, but in a way that contributes to the whole. Because as you lean into your personal power, and almost in this way, I keep hearing purpose and keep feeling purpose. As you discover your purpose, as your purpose begins to unfold, it adds to the collective in a way that is very holistic, in a way that is very in flow and in alignment with what it should be. And so that sense of individuation begins to shrink away. Because instead of thinking of individuation as I need to be responsible in a way that benefits others or in a way that benefits the self, it is like I have a responsibility to myself to lean into my purpose and passion in a powerful way that shifts my energy, because my energy is what I contribute to the collective in a constant way. Um, so that's what I've got. I'm going to also pull some cards. I'm going to use the Fountain Tarot. I got this recently and it is feeling like my soul deck. Like there is an instant connection that I feel with this. There is just a divine love that is shared. And I did not expect to love it as much as I do. I really have developed a deep love for this deck. So I just feel really called to pull a couple of cards and discuss them and just see what comes up intuitively with the cards. I might also use the Inner Child Oracle, which is an indie deck by Amanda. I don't remember her last name, and I wish that I did, because she really created something very beautiful and something that I really connected with. I was looking for inner child decks. I was looking for something really particular to inner child. And it's, you don't actually need an inner child deck to do inner child work. But I've been connecting with tarot a lot lately, and it's been a really good guiding point for me for my other work that I've been doing, even with candles or oils or whatever, meditation and journaling. And I felt like I needed something or wanted something that was very particular to inner child. So I decided to pick that deck up, and it was like instantly, again, another instant connection. So I've been spending a lot of time with these, and they've been talking to me. So I just want to see what we're feeling, like whatever spirit wants to tell me right now, whatever is coming up for the collective consciousness, whatever messages feel significant. I just want to hear them right now. Um, so we have the Knight of Cups. Um, so cups being emotion, right? But we see him like sitting. It kind of looks very watery right here, almost like a waterfall coming down. So intuitiveness and emotion flowing gracefully. But the Knight of Cups is somebody who really believes in the power of love. So tapping into the power of love. He believes so. In this card, I see very meditative. So the knight tends to be very adolescent, but he feels very steady and calm and meditative in, at least in this version of it. Like if you see him closely, he's balancing on his head. That you can't be hyper and energetic if you're balancing something, right? Like he's capable of sitting there in this very meditative and like transcendental state where he's in between, and like he's kind of in the water and he's in between these spaces. So transition and fluidity and the movement, things moving around for him, and he's pouring love. He really believes in love. And for this could be, I keep getting self-love, 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 self-love in a radical way that becomes very still and quiet and reassured. Now, the Knight of Cups is usually somebody who, the knight tends to have a sense of false confidence, right? Like he feels that he's all knowing, he has a lot to learn. But what I get from this card and from looking at this card is that even though he does have this sense of confidence, he seems very still and he's receptive. Water can be receptive to change, water can be receptive to the flow and the tides turning and the tides being altered. The tides right now are very still in this image, as I see. So there's a stillness within him. And so that might be the stillness that's going on with all of us. We're being urged to look in deeper and really find and lean into this activation of self-love. Somebody used the word activated the other day, and I've been on it because I'm like, that is the word I've been needing. That describes so much for me. Activation, activation. But I see in this card a stillness being activated, an internalness being activated, a drive for love and passion, an emotional connection, an intuitive connection, a connection that is going deeper, deeper into stillness, which is not what I normally pick up from knights. But it's what I'm picking up from this night. And again, I'm just going based on intuition. I think it's so important whenever you're using your cards, you can go based by book and you can use the book as a guiding point, as a reference point, but you can also lean in and just pick up what you're feeling, like, and be comfortable and confident enough that your intuition is guiding you to feel what it is that you're feeling from that card in that moment. Okay, let's do another one. I'm gonna put these here on my altar space. I want this one. Ah, and yes, the Hermit. That makes a lot of sense. Now, these cards, I'm telling you, are just connect with them so much. This is so beautiful. He is walking alone. It is kind of, it looks wintry, it looks cold. The leaves are bare, right? And we know the Hermit kind of goes inward. He has the one candle or the one light, and the one light signaling that light inward, guiding him into himself. And so these cards actually, they make a lot of sense for me. They work together really well. This meditative and still quality that is looking for or pushing through with love, feeling like love and emotion and intuition will be the guiding point for his meditative and still position right now. It's a transformative card, but it's an inwardly transformative card, and then it is being highlighted by the Hermit. So we don't need to be doing, and also I want to say we don't need to be um I don't want to use fear mongering, even though there's a lot of that going on. But I just feel like we need to be really careful about saying that because everybody's emotional space right now is very valid. But take that emotional space and really have trust and faith that there is more. For everything that exists, there is its equal and exact opposite, right? And so when there's this high level of fear and intensity, there's also this high level of love, because fear and love tend to be a opposite, right? Or fear and sureness, right? Like calm and steadiness and just feeling secure and safe, right? So there's this exact opposite. So there's this thing that's asking us, like, he's walking. The hermit is going inward, but going inward is walking into this unknown space. He can only go alone. He's not going with anyone, and this is going to be a meditative space for him. Obviously, we know where I think where a lot of us are, maybe it's not obvious, and forgive me if it's not, but I think for a lot of us, we know that the Hermit is a very well-known card, right? There's stars in the background, so he is being led by this internal hope, this internal light, but it's not this strong hope and desire that we get from the star card. This is really somebody that has this internal light that is being pulled inward to trust in this unknown dark space. It could be shadow work, it could be leaning into that darkness within you, it could be darkness feeling, being like this stillness and calmness that the night might bring, this unknown element, this mystery, this internal mystery that it's bringing. And I think for a lot of us, we are being asked to sit with ourselves in a very deep and honest way for the first time in a very long time. So it's really important to honor that and to not, you're not going crazy, and everything that you're feeling right now and everything that you're wanting to do right now, you're not going crazy. You're being compelled to do things that you probably never would have done before. You're being pulled. I think if you're looking at this, if you're watching this video today or whenever you're watching it, you're being pulled in a direction that you maybe have not been pulled in before in this strong way that you are. The energies are just right. They're just right. They're creating this really transformative space. But sometimes transformation is not this like outward expansion explosion. It's this inward expansion, expanding inward, filling all the spaces internally, discovering internally, not just the light and the stars that are there that are drawing you, not just the candle that leads the way inward, but also the dark spaces that could be still. They can be dark because they're still. They can be dark because there's shadow work to be done as well. All right, let's get another one. I think we're doing maybe two more in an oracle. That's what I'm feeling. Also, maybe, yeah, because four. Let's do it, right? It's April 4th, 2020, 2 and 2 making 4. So 444, and let's pull 4 cards. It's been such an interesting time. Trust in yourself. Ah, okay. So we've got our next 2, which is going to make our 4. I love that these 2 fell out. They kind of jumped out the deck. So the first one, they fell out like this. The first one being the Six of Cups. Now, the Six of Cups is nostalgia, it's a memory, it's this love for the past, it's this love for the inner child, it's the healing of the inner child, it's bringing those happy, joyful memories forward. It's also reconnecting with the past. Reconnecting with things that make you think of a sweet time in the past. It feels like emotional trust. It's trusting in the inner self. It's being protected in this bubble. Six being harmony and peace and yin and yang and like the coming together of duality. Really, it's like this perfection. And then it's like two children kind of or young people kind of coming together, and they look like they're enjoying each other's company. It's very peaceful. I get a real deep sense of peace. They're safe. I get a sense of safety. So being reflective, going back into the things that bring this overwhelming sense of safety. I even pick up things that you left behind, passions that you left behind, things that you loved and you forgot that you loved because you got so caught up, like we all do. You got so caught up in the world of adulthood and what you need to be doing. But go back and start exploring. Go look back. Look inside, look back. There is either inner child work to be healed from this internal exploration and investigation that you've got going on, or there's pulling up things that you've been passionate about from the past, from a younger self. And it doesn't even have to be physically younger, but somebody who had more access to young and youthful joy and playfulness and creativity. I also get that even though we're in a hermit like phase, even though we're in a still phase, there's a lot of creative power going on. Tap into that creative power and what that means to you. Creativity can come in many different forms. It is not just artwork, it is not just drawing, it is creative thinking. It is being tapping into this intuitive power to be innovative about your circumstance, innovative about your ideas, your passions, your powers, innovative about how you want to spend your day. It's about bringing a spark of joy and a spark of playfulness to the things that you do. And so with this card, I see people looking back at the things they've left behind, that they've said this doesn't serve me. I've got to grow up. I've got to grow out of this. But actually, the things that are bringing you joy, or the things that create that young spirit in you, are what you should be looking at right now. Those are the way, that's the path that you should be walking towards right now, because that's the path that you left behind, but that's the path that was supposed to serve you. If you're watching this, there's something that I feel that you've put to the side for a long time, that you had passion for, that you felt deeply about, that you decided that wasn't gonna make you money. It's not responsible. It's not gonna be good. And it's gonna be something that is healthy. It's gonna be something that feels good and safe and is secure. It could even be like reconnecting with people that remind you of that, reconnecting with a past that reminds you of your inner love, your self love, your inner child that is capable of accessing joy. Um, and then we've got the high priestess, right? And then this is really duality, and like she is just all knowing and capable of seeing both sides, right? Spirit and physical, capable of bringing it together. We've got the moon, the full moon behind her. So bringing things into fruition. We've got the possibility to manifest. We've got this very like stately. She's very stately. She's sitting there, and you can see the power in her, and she is guiding you, and she is saying, I am trying to be gentle about this, and there are definitely decisions, there's definitely options, but I want you to bring that spiritual element, that intuitive and emotional and spiritual element into the physical world, because you have abandoned it, you have forgotten about it. But I am here to remind you that this is not an accident. You are being divinely guided. You are being brought to this path for a reason. You're being brought to these memories for a reason. You're being brought to yourself, this internal stillness, this desire to go inward for a reason. And it is full of love. It is full of self-love, love for yourself, which allows you to love others far more deeply. Um, I love that she is the last card that we drew, that she is card number 4 for us. I mean, just look at how powerful this is. She's sitting on also what looks like a moon, right? So it almost looks like she's sitting on a waning moon. and above her is the full moon, and there's this power to be in the physical while channeling the spiritual, while channeling the intuitive, and bringing that power of what is up there and what is internal to out here. Like, let us see what that actually looks like. Be creative in your approach to finding out what that looks like for you. And then we'll do an oracle. We'll do one more card, because I do get, like, especially with the going back, right, and like with the leaning inward and looking inside and tapping into something that's that from the past for you. I get that. So what I'm thinking is that we need to pull an inner child. The chain breaker: freedom, indignation, and justice. Judgment that has been placed upon us by ourselves or by others can shackle us, stealing our joy and will to live. Take time today to remove these judgments, choosing not to believe in the lies they tell. A judgment is not the truth. A judgment is not the truth. Okay. So what I'm picking up from this is judgment about your decisions, judgment about the past. Again, looking at that inner child and like looking at those old passions and things that you've judged, that you felt like would not serve you, things that you felt like were not going to do you justice right now, or that wouldn't be things that you can grow with, but they were things that you can grow with. It's time to stop judging your passions. It's time to stop judging that playful, creative nature and that inner child in you, and it's time to really lean into it. All of that judgment that has created the perspectives that you've used to get you to the point in your life, they've served you, but they don't serve you anymore. They made you stable. They got you to where you needed to go. They did what they served their purpose, but that purpose is over with. We're stepping into a new purpose, and you need to line up with it. And don't be afraid, because there's fear out there, but fear is not serving you. There is a lot of fear out there, and that's okay. I'm not going to judge that, because the reality is I have moments where I'm genuinely afraid, and then I have to remind myself not to not be afraid, but to say, you know what? Fear exists, and fear serves us for survival, and fear gets us motivated and moving. But I also have faith. I have faith in what's happening. I have faith that I can be in this space and transform, because transformation is also existing at the same exact time. Love and intentionality, that is existing. People are really stepping into their power, and there's a lot of creativity going on. So don't block your creativity. I want you to really lean into it at this time. Spirit really came to me to tell me today that as above, so below. And that is especially in this time in regards to death, right? And rebirth, fear, and then like security. Feel secure in the unknown. Feel that this is a transformation. Being stagnant and stuck at home, but being able to be creative and be internally creative. Tap into this emotional, intuitive side of yours that you've ignored. And if you don't know how to do it, there's a lot of resources out there. But also trust in yourself, that there's almost this innate wisdom that if you just silence your self-judgment, if you just silence how you view things, like the woo woo, oh, that's not real, that's this and that's that, and I don't know. You know what? Be open to possibility right now. Be very, very open to possibility. Be very, very open to what can be truth for you, because truth is different for everybody. Truth is not across the board. There's universal truth, but that individual truth is transformative, and how you view it and what you gain from it will be different from each person. I hope that you guys have a really blessed day today. I am so grateful that you tuned in, and whatever time this message has received you, I really hope that you got it, and that it's what you needed, and that it sinks in deeply for you, and that it serves whatever it's meant to serve. Um, I appreciate you, and I wish you the best. Thank you so much.